Hi everyone, and welcome back again to my YouTube channel. I hope you all are well today, and I hope you all are taking good care of your health. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for always watching my video. I really appreciate. God bless you. If you are new, special welcome and thanks. I am Regina Madu, a pharmacist. In this channel, I'll be discussing about health and wellness, diseases and treatment, food and nutrition, and overall health-related topics. So if you're interested, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and also the bell icon for weekly updates whenever I upload a new video. In today's video, I'll be discussing about vaginosis and the yeast infection. If you are a man and you feel like, oh, I shouldn't watch this video, it's not for me, after all, I don't have a vagina, please don't skip yet, because the knowledge you get from this video will help you to help a sister, to help your wife or your girlfriend or your relative. So stick and watch to the end. Vaginosis is very common, and this word vaginosis and yeast infection are interchangeably used, and some people can even confuse it because they have similar symptoms but they have different causes. There are different things that cause these diseases, and because they have different causative organisms, their treatment also varies. And it is very common. Sometimes it's not even a thing to be concerned about or things to worry yourself about, but sometimes it persists for long that one will have to get prescription to get rid of this infection. And it should not be confused with vaginitis. Vaginitis is inflammation of the vagina, which can be due to many things, including this vaginosis and yeast infection, but I'm specifically talking about yeast infection and bacterial vaginosis. So bacterial vaginosis, which is also abbreviated as BV, is infection of the vagina caused by bacteria, while yeast infection is caused by fungi called candida, candidiasis, because originally there are microbes that help to protect the V area, keeping other harmful bacteria away from this area. But sometimes the bad one overcome the good ones, thereby resulting in those symptoms one have when they have VV infection. And this overgrowth of the bad bacteria can be as a result of change in pH of the vagina. Why would the pH of the vagina change? That means I'm talking about the causes also, because these are what could make the pH of the V to change, resulting in overgrowth of infection or overgrowth of the bad bacteria. Just like in this picture, it looked like tube or container with a tube, and someone will insert it inside their V and use water like washing the vagina. The vagina doesn't need to be washed. It can take care of itself. You don't even need to bother yourself. And that means using scented or harsh detergent to wash the V area. It can destabilize the pH of this, or using all these V wash products to wash the area. And also, depending on how frequently you are using it can destabilize the pH of the V, thereby causing the bad bacteria to grow. Another cause of this can be change in hormonal balance, or increase in estrogen level. And that thing is pregnancy or menopause, which is cause the change in hormone, or menstruation can also cause change in hormone or resulting in this vaginal infection. And then for yeast infection, which is caused by fungi called candida or candidiasis, is when this candida finds the way into the V, and then they cause similar symptoms, of which I'll be discussing the symptoms soon and differentiate it. So this is due to overuse of antibiotics or hormonal changes, which also can result in changing in the V environment, changing pH of the V environment. Another cause of this yeast infection is poor hygiene, especially when using the toilet, and that causes hormonal therapy, especially for cancer patients. If they are using hormonal therapy to treat cancer that use hormones to grow, like in breast cancer. Another thing is use of birth control pills. Yeah, it can also result in yeast infection because it affects the hormones. So these are the causes of this yeast infection or bacterial vaginosis. The symptoms of these two, like I said earlier, the symptoms are similar but not completely. There are little difference. In bacterial vaginosis, the symptoms include abnormal discharge, and this discharge will be thin. It's not like so much, it will be like normal vaginal discharge, but it will be grayish or greenish or yellowish in color. The color of the discharge will be different, and the smell will be foul. It will have a foul smell or fish-like smell, and this smell increases whenever one had sexual intercourse or after seeing your period. And another thing is itchy vagina, okay, and burning or pain during urination. Then in yeast infection, the symptoms is also almost the same like itchy vagina, swelling or redness around the opening of the vagina, and abnormal vaginal discharge. But in this yeast infection, there will be so much discharge. Originally, the vein do discharge some mucus-like stuff that helps to keep the vagina wet and also keep it healthy. But during this infection period, there will be abnormal discharge. It will be much and look like cheese cottage, but it will not have smell. It doesn't smell bad like as in bacterial vaginosis. Also, there will be burning or pain during urination or during intercourse. But the thing is that one can also have both at the same time, and that is why it requires diagnosis. So because of this similarity, one can easily confuse the two and take the wrong medication. But I hope that by now you'll be able to know the difference. You'll be able to know which of the infection you're having if you do have it. And the treatment for these two is antibiotics. For yeast infection is antifungal, which is also can be called antibiotic, but particularly antifungal drugs like ketoconazole mostly and clotrimazole are drugs used for yeast infection. It can be in as suppository, which is a cone-like big tablet that one can insert into the vein, and it will act locally to kill the fungi present in that area, or as a cream that you can apply in that area. And in some severe cases, one can get prescription to buy fluconazole tablet. So for bacterial vaginosis, the drugs used are metronidazole. Okay, metronidazole, tinidazole are used to treat this infection. But remember that this metronidazole, which is also the flagellate, can be used for many things. So if you walk into the pharmacy and tell them to give you flagellate, they can give you the 200 mg dose, which is used for diarrhea and other conditions. You may take it and be like, oh, this condition have lasted so long, why is it not going? But you may not know that you didn't take appropriate dose because you took it into your hands. This vaginal infection, or will I say yeast infection, is very common, and I think is the most popular gynecological diagnosis or cases that make people go to see a gynecologist, I mean among women. And many do have recurrent one or persistent one. Now the reason why one may have this condition for a long time or have it recurring frequently, or maybe 4 times in a year, is number one, wrong diagnosis. Because if one have yeast infection and the person is treating bacterial vaginosis, it will not work, because the other one is bacteria and the other one is fungal infection. And if you treat bacterial infection with antifungal, it cannot work. And if you treat fungal infection with antibacterial, it will not work. So it's better one, go for diagnosis, know which of the infection you're suffering from before treating yourself. Another one is having resistant strain of these bacteria, that they will become resistant to drug. In that, more powerful antibiotics will be required, which you can only get from a doctor when you visit and they give you prescription, because most of these powerful antibiotics, they cannot just give it away, and that's that can cause this recurrent or persistent is incomplete treatment. If you are prescribed medication to take for 1 week and you take it for 3 days, the symptoms subsides, don't quit. Continue taking it, mostly if it's infection, any kind of infection at all. Make sure you complete your course of treatment. Another thing that can keep the recurrent is sexual activity, especially having multiple sexual partners. And that thing is overuse of antibiotics. Whenever you use antibiotics, you're not just selectively killing the one particular, but you are also exposing other bacteria in the body to this particular drug. So overuse of antibiotics can make it to reoccur because of drug resistance. Other common things you should know about this is that it may go away on its own. It's not always a thing that you concern about, and it increases the risk of one to contact HIV or other STDs. And that is that if it's left untreated in pregnant women, it can cause premature delivery or premature birth. And if the baby happens to be born healthy and hearty, it can cause oral thrust in the baby, especially if the baby is born through natural birth. So how do you prevent this vaginal infection or yeast infection? Number one is don't wear tight clothes, wear cotton underwear. Don't wear wet clothes, wet underwear. Wet underwear or tight underwear, don't wear it. Wear cotton underwear. If you are douching, stop douching. Don't douche, just like I showed in the previous place I was discussing about it. Don't abuse antibiotics. If you do, don't abuse antibiotics. Don't soak yourself in hot water tub for a long period of time, or hot water baths for a long period of time. Don't use scented or harsh detergent to wash the V area. Like I said, it can take care of itself. Just a little water, or if you have non-scented detergent or soap, bathing soap, you can use it to wash the surface, or not let it go inside, or anything that can destabilize or the pH of the V, like using a Sextoil or anything to insert into the vagina. And that preventive measure is to take probiotics regularly, which you can also obtain from yogurt. And that thing is to change tampon regularly for those that use tampon in menses. Don't forget tampon inside there. Change it regularly, or any other pad you are using, change it frequently. So this comes to the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you found it useful. Please, if you did, give me a thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and also the bell icon for weekly updates. Share this video to your family and friends. Thank you for watching, and do have yourself a good day. Bye bye. And please, you can suggest any video you want me to make on the comment section below, and also let me know how you feel about this video by commenting in the comment section below.